Hello everyone, good afternoon. So let's wait 2 more minutes, then we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. Uh, so good morning everyone. So yesterday we learned about NumPy library, right? So we learned in detail what all different functions are available. So we learned in detail what all functions and the attributes are available, how we can use it. We saw them using example, right? How we can do about how we can go about it, how we can use it, right? So I hope you might have done the practice also. And regarding the link, what you were saying, right? The content you are not able to access. So I've spoken with XLR team. So they are going to take some 5-10 minutes session again today when we'll be taking the break. Right. So I think Bharat or Amar, if you are online, can you please confirm if you want to take it now or you will be taking during break?
I will take at the time of break, ma'am, because students are listening.
Break.
Yes.
Okay, I saw them. Yeah, yeah, then perfect. So then these guys will help you out regarding your query. So you can reach out to them, whatever query you have regarding downloading the content or the assessment, right? Uh, with that, then let's get started. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, perfect. So today we are going to start similar library, like another library named Pandas. So you already might have heard the name, like I have used it sometimes to read CSV and Excel file like that, right? But today we are going to learn in detail what all different things are available over there, right? Uh, and what we can do about it or how we can leverage that, correct? So introduction to Pandas in Python. So it's an open source library. Again, what is open source? Which is available for free. Anybody can download without any restriction. So they already, this library, if I were to show you, right, Pandas library. So let me show you in GitHub. This GitHub is is the, what do you say, this is this github.com. You can open and you can create your account just like the Google. So what it does is it's a code repository. So like you have, the what do you say, WhatsApp to share media, right, to share audio, to share videos and things like that, right? Similar to that, GitHub, you can think of, it's a platform which, where you can store your code and you can share it with anybody. Okay, so it's just like your Google Drive for code repository, that's all, right? You can think like that. It's a Google Drive for code repository only, right? So as you can see, somebody has already developed this Pandas. So this person, right, he has developed this Pandas library and he has put all his codes over here. So if you open this Pandas, right, you can see what all things in there. So there are all these different functions which we'll learn one by one. So he has created like this might be having arrays, all the functions related to arrays. So you see, this is .py file, so everything has been developed in Python only. Okay, so you see all these things, whatever code we are writing, right, so everything is being written over here. So what happens is, whenever you do pip install Pandas, right, it goes to this link, it downloads all these files into your own folder. So whenever you are calling import Pandas, it is actually going into these folders and loading all those files. Clear? That's how it works. Okay, so that is what open source library it is, right? It is made mainly for working with relation and labeled data both easily and intuitively. It provides various data structure. So you will see there are various data structure where you can work on in Pandas, right? It is built on top of NumPy library. So what does it mean? Built on top of NumPy library, there will be other functions also which will be leveraged from NumPy. Okay, so let's say if you are starting fresh and you have installed Pandas, so by default it will ask you to install NumPy as well. Okay, so it is dependent on NumPy library, right? So Pandas is fast and high performance and productivity for users. Okay, so history, you can quickly read about it. So initially developed by this in 2008, right? And then it's getting modified. So he is like the major contributor. He is the one who pioneered this library. And then of course, since it is open source, anybody can contribute to it. If you are sure, let's say you develop something, one functionality which is not there in Pandas, you can actually go and make your changes over here. The only thing is, it won't be like it's not like randomly anybody can come and edit it. So there are a lot of things. It depends on permissions also. Like in Google Drive, you give permission, right? What kind of permission this person has given, only view or to edit also. Or let's say if you have done some changes, you can request this person that I have made this changes, so he can review it, and if he likes it, he can incorporate that, because ultimately it's his repo, right? It's his library, so it is like that, right? So anybody can contribute to that, this library, right? Then there are a lot of advantages, like it is very fast and efficient for manipulating and analyzing data, right? Data from different objects can be loaded. The size mutability is there. It's easy handling of missing data as well. Data set merging and joining is very easy. We will see all these operations, so these are very easy to use as well. Now simply you can import Pandas as PD. So as PD, as in, it is just for alias, because every time you write Pandas it's slightly bigger. So that's why we are saying that import Pandas, and I have renamed as PD only for that session. Okay. Then we have Pandas generally provide two data structure for manipulating data. So it typically handles two kind of a thing. One is series and another is data frame. So you can think of series is equivalent to a list, right? So you have a list, right? It is 1D list. So it is equivalent to that. And data frame is equivalent to array. Okay, so whatever we learned yesterday, right? List and array, it is very much similar to that. Here instead of list, it is series, and instead of array, it's data frame. Pandas series, it's a one-dimensional labeled array capable of holding data of any type, right? Integer, string, float, Python object, right? So it can have anything. The access level are collected called indexes. So then we have indexes, right? Like it start with 0, you can access any at any index, and you can print the value, you can check what is the value there, right? Then you have Panda series is nothing but a common column in an Excel sheet. So in a simple words, it's nothing but a column in an Excel sheet. Labels need not to be unique but must be hashable type. Okay. The object supports both integer and label based indexing and provide a host of methods of performing operation involving the index. So let's see how we can create a series, right? So first of all, creating a series, how we can go about it? Simply, let's say you have an array or you have a list, whatever you have defined, you can simply do pd.series and you can pass on that list. It will be converted into a series. Okay, it can be a list also, it can be array also, just that it has to be one dimensional. If you do give two dimensional, then it will give you error. So you want to see, so let's try it out. So let me open a new notebook. Okay. So here I am just importing pandas as pd. Okay, then I have this list 1 2 3 like that, and I can convert it into series. So see, it has converted into series. Let's say if I give a two-dimensional list or a two-dimensional array, let's see what it does. It's a two-dimensional list, right? There are now two elements of a list, and then within one element you have again this three elements, right? So it has converted, but then what it does is it has actually now, instead of one element, it is considering 1 2 3 as a single element. So that is what actually I was expecting it to do. Correct. So then in a series, then instead of just one element, now it is what it is doing, it is assuming this entire list as a one element, and that's how it has converted it. Okay, so that's why just be careful how you want to create your series. Okay, fine. uh, then you have a data frame. So what is data frame? Basically, it is a two-dimensional size, mutable, potentially heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means it can have any kind of a data. One column have name, one column have number, one column have floating numbers also, right? So heterogeneous tabular data structure with labeled axes, rows and columns are labeled. So rows are labeled with indexes 0 1 2 3 4 like that, and columns are labeled with column names, like if it is name, team, number, position, age, etc. All these column names. Okay, then how do I create a data frame? Simply with a list also I can create a data frame. So simply here, let's say if I, let's see if with the same way if I create data frame, what happens. Let's see. So it has created data frame like this, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, like that it has created. Okay, since it does not, we did not give what is should be the column name, so it assumed it is 0 1 2. Similarly for index it is 0 1. You could have given column names and index if you wanted to change something. Okay, so let's say uh, columns you can define, and since there are three columns, you can say that you have to give three letter. Let's say C1, C2, and then C3. So you see now it has changed. So let's say if I give less, it will give me error. It will say that it's a mismatch. It says that in this line it has a problem. And what is the problem? Two column passed and data has 3 columns. So it tell you exactly what is the problem. So you have to make sure that how many columns are there, these many column names you are providing. Okay. So that's how you can simply define a data frame, pd.dataFrame. Okay, why pandas is used? So it is generally used for data science, but why? Because they are used in conjunction with any other, with so many libraries that are used for data science. It has built on top of NumPy, so it has already have got most of the operations which NumPy does, right? So whatever we learned yesterday, it is already capable of doing all those operations, right? And then matplot library, this we will see, we use typically use it for plotting, doing creating charts, visualization. So in fact you can plot using pandas also, we will see that today, right? Statistical analysis, scipy, all these libraries, right? They are in conjunction of pandas, and that's why pandas library is so much heavily used. And similarly this scikit-learn library, it is very much heavily used when you guys will learn data science, right? So you name any model, it is there in this library. So any kind of statistical or machine learning modeling thing you have to do, it is very good for this. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, no questions. Okay, then let's get going. uh, Fine. So then, yeah. So then go to the list. Next topic is like how to install. So that you already know, you simply have to do pip install pandas, and it will be done in your system, right? You just have to do in your either you can open Anaconda prompt from here, Conda prompt, this command prompt. Sorry, not command prompt. Anaconda prompt you can open. Anaconda prompt you can open and type it there, or within Jupyter Notebook you just have to put a this exclamatory sign, and put pip install pandas. That's all. That's how you can install any library. Okay, fine. So that's done. They have given in details. If you want, you can check it out. Right. So now let's see what all different things we can do within pandas. Okay. So we already saw creating a data frame. So we can create a data frame with the help of any list, or you can give a list of list. So it depends whatever kind of a list or array you are giving, you are converting. You can convert simply by using pd.dataFrame. That's all. Okay. Then you can give actually dictionary also. So dictionary, what will happen? It will have column name, right? So this kind of dictionary, it typically is what we use to create a data frame, right? So let's say if this is the data, right, and I can simply say d1 equal to pd dot data frame and data. So in this case I don't have to I don't have a need to give column names and all, because already names have been given, because dictionary, that's how it works, right? I am telling that this is the name, like this is the key and these are the values. Similarly, this is the key, these are the values. Now one thing to notice over here is dictionary can have multiple list items, so it need not to be of same length. So here if you see, it is 1 2 3 4. So there the length is 4. So here if I have to define dictionary, it can work. So if I even if I delete, right, there is no problem for dictionary. But if I'm converting into a data frame, then it is a problem. So you see now this line it has run. So creating a data, it's not a problem, because dictionary ka property hai ye that it need not to be of same length. Okay, but if you, as soon as you are converting into a data frame, so it gave me error in this line. And what is the error? All arrays must be of same length. Okay, because we already saw that is a thumb rule in a data frame. Your all the columns has to have the same length, otherwise you cannot create a data frame. Okay, so as soon as I add another value, it's done. Okay, so be careful when you are defining, and whenever you are getting such error, that it has to be of equal length. Okay, So now dealing with rows and columns. So simply up, you can select few columns by simply giving double thing. So for example, let's say I just want to print name. So what I can do is D1. So one way is also it is case sensitive. So make sure that uh, if it is all small, then you call all small, and because then the column name will be different, right? So you make sure that whatever is your column name, exactly you are calling that. So let's say I call this, right, like this. So you see it has given you like this, right? So what is the type of this? It's a series, okay? Because series is tagged vertically has been called as data frame, correct? Now I could have given two columns also, I mean two brackets also. It's a data frame. So pay attention to this, how you want to call it out. So if you wanted a subset of a data frame, then always give two brackets, okay, which means that you are getting the data frame. If you are giving just single bracket, it has been converted into a series. So this is actually typically a common problem, common mistakes people make. So typically they just give one column and they try to perform operations of data frame, but it is no longer a data frame, it has been converted into a series. So जो data frame के operations है, that won't work on series ना. So that's why mostly the best practice is you always use double brackets. So within this you can give multiple columns also, like age, right? So you get both the columns, so it will make sure that you are getting a data frame, not series. Okay, you can get the call names also. So like d1, then what are the columns? So you can just press tab and you can see what all different properties are there. So you can see in call names you have, right? See, columns you have. If you do that, you can get the column name. So name and age is your column name. Get d1 dot shape also. So what is the shape of it? So it is 4 comma 2, right? 4 rows, 2 columns. Okay, then row selection you can do. How you can do rows selection is by simply you can access using either this, like d1. Let's say if I want to, let's see if I can give it by index. No, I cannot. So it will give me 0 comma. Let's see if I can give it like this. No, is an invalid key. So how do I access? So there is something called d1 dot lock. Lock is location, and that's how I can give the value. So let's say if I give 0, it will be giving me the value. Okay, so how to access rows? Basically you do d1 dot lock and give the index, because this is the index, right? That's the name of that location, which index we are trying to access. So I'm trying to access first, that is tom 20, correct? Similarly, if I'm accessing 2, or let's say 3, it is jack 67. So that's how you can access row wise. Okay, so now you know how can I select a particular column or how can I select a particular row, correct? So that's what you can do. So indexing and selecting data. So indexing means, like just now we were discussing, right? If I have to select a particular row or particular column, how I can do the indexing of it. Okay, so okay, so indexing operator is used to refer the square bracket, right, following by an object. So either you can use dot log or iloc indexer. Also use indexing operator to make selection. So let's see. So that's how you are indexing the column, right? So by simply giving one column name. So again, it will give you series. If you want data frame, you can give two brackets, right? Then using the location, how you can select a single row? Simply data.log and you can give the index of it. So as you can see here the index are names. So how you can do it? The same thing I can. So let's say the name is now a column, right? But I want to create that as an index. I don't want the name to be a column. I want name to be a row name or a index. So that I can do how? Simply I can give the, let's say D2 I'm doing, D1. I think reset index. I am also not sure. I'm just trying it out. How can I do that? Okay. It it is okay. We'll see that later. I think there will be this operation because, as I said, right, there are so many syntaxes. Even I don't remember which one is what, but at least I know those the operations are existing. And if I want, I can simply Google and get that syntax. Okay, so in fact, that is what I am looking from you as well. That I don't expect you to remember all these syntax, right? Because that is something I don't use much, and that's the reason I don't, you remember it. So this is the one which I was telling you, right? So basically, there is a CSV called NBA CSV, right? So here I have clearly mentioned that my index column you create name. So that's the reason whatever our names are there now, it has been converted into an index. It's not a column anymore. So this is the thing you can give. Okay, cool. Fine. And if you want to select a single row, I already told you, you can give data.log and give the index name. So if it is a name, you give it. In our case, it's number. So that's what we gave. That's what we gave here. So it was giving me the value, right? Uh, then indexing a data frame using ilock. So there is something called ilock as well. So the difference between lock and ilock is actually this function allows you to retrieve rows and columns by position. In order to do that, we will need to specify the position of the row. So in our case, lock and ilock is same because location is a index location. However, in this case, let's say when I have a name column as my index, so one way is I can give location where I have to give the name, right? I have to give the label of the rows or name of the rows, right? Or ilock, if I want to use, I can give the position of that. So in our case, if I do ilock, na, I will be getting the same answer. So you see, it's the same answer because in my case, position and name are same thing, right? But it may not be the case every time, right? You may have different row names or indexes for some other data. So that's where it will be different. Okay, cool. Now, how do I work with the missing data? So that is also something which is very easy in Python. I mean, especially using pandas. So missing data can occur when no information is provided for one or more items, right? So missing data is a very big problem in real life scenario. So how to find out is, let's say you have this data, right? And if I simply print it out, so as okay, I did not had the NP, that's why it is giving it. Import numpy as NP. So as you can see here, these nan values are nothing but null. So if you are importing from Excel, you might see that there are some cells which are blank. So if you import it, either they will come blank or they will come like nan. So it is up to you. Okay, so both ways you can identify that these are the null values. So how do I treat it, right? First of all, how do I know if there is null data or not? So simply there is a command called df is null. So df dot is, then you can put and you can see, right? So if it is blank now, then you typically, if there is NA, then it typically comes NA. Or if it is blank, it typically it comes as null. So both things you can check. So you can say if is an NA, so it will tell you wherever it is, right? You can, so you, for to simplify, you can just do a sum. It will tell you how many total NAs are there. So it will sorry, I think not like this. Again, as I said, right, I am very bad remembering syntaxes, but there is a way to sum also. So let me show you first is null and NA, how it differs. So as you can see here, in this case, m- mostly you should try them out both. You should check is NA also, you should check is null also. Simply reason I told, right? Here it is NA, right? So typically it will come under is NA. If it is blank, if nothing is written, then it may happen that it is not coming in is NA, but it is null might capture that. So you should be checking both the is NA and is null just to be sure. Okay, and then how do I count it? Counting is also a option. Um, so uh, I think let me just quickly try one more thing if it works like that. Oh yeah, it worked like that. So earlier I was giving some previously, right? So it was giving me errors. It was not working because I was not putting in a right syntax. So the right syntax is this. So what it is telling me, yes, there is NA, and if you see, there are three columns. So each column has one null value, and that's what it is telling. That first score column has one, second score column has one, and third score column has one. So each of the column has one null values. So that's how you can count also. Okay, similarly here you can count. Okay, fine. Uh, okay, cool. So that is what, like, how we can count or check if there are null values. Then second thing comes, okay, what if I know it, like there are null values, right? How do I treat it? So to treat it, there are different functions. Either you can use fill NA, or you can use replace, or you can use interpolate. So let's see one by one. Okay, very simple thing is, you just do this diff fill NA and give the value how you want to fill it. So let's say df dot fill you can do, and you see this thing comes fill NA, and you say I want to replace it with 0. Such a simple solution, right? And you press this diff and you see sorry, why it did not work? Can somebody tell me in chat? Can somebody tell me, even though I did df fill any, but I printed df, it did not work? And this is very common and silly mistake, which at least I make many times. And simple reason is, I did it, but I did not save it in df. So I will have to save it in df, then only it will work. So you see, now it has worked. I forgot to save it in df. Okay, so as you can see here, now wherever I was NA, it is filled with 0. Okay, let's run it one more time, because I want to show you some other thing also. So now you could have given some other values also. So you know, the standard way of filling NAs is not 0, it is actually the mean value, because that's what typically you should be doing, right? So you should be filling the here, instead of 0, you tell me what is the appropriate value, 0 or 90 or 92. What is the more appropriate value to put it over here, 0 or 90s or 92? Anything between 90 to 95. I want answer in chat. 92, right? Between 90 to 95. Why? Simply because you, that is equal to your mean value, isn't it? Right? That is equivalent to your mean value, है ना? So that's what you are so that's how typically you should check what is the mean value, and that's what the value you should be filling. So for example, what I will do in this case, I will simply do df dot, there is a one command, describe. Okay, what it does, I'll show you. So it does magic. So whatever is numerical column in your entire data frame now, it will give you a statistic of that, a quick statistic. So for example, you have three columns, so that's why you have three things over here. Always remember, it does only for numerical column. So if you have any column which is categorical, like names you have, so it won't do it for that, right? It does only for numerical column. Okay, so the first column, what it does, it will tell you the count. So there are three just a second, there are the f 0 1 2 3. Okay, so it is actually counting, yes. So ideally it should give 4, but it is counting only numerical thing. So that's why it is just counting 3, 1 2 3. Null it has ignored. Okay, so it gives you how many total counts are there in that, right? So there are 3. non-null values. Then what is the mean value? So mean value is 95. Similarly, for this column, it is 43. It is 72. Then it also gives you, if you are aware about the percentile thing, right? So typically how your entire data is distributed. So it gives you what is the minimum value, what is the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and 100th. So as you can see here, minimum value in this column is 90. So this is what, right? 90. Then what is the 25th percentile? It will simply, see your range 90 to maximum, whatever it is, minimum to max, right? And it will split out your data accordingly. Yeah, it will, you can think of like a equal distribution. So like you can see here, right? 90 to 25th is 20.5. So 2.5 added. Then again 50th is 2.5 added, 95. 75th again more 2.5 added. So 97.5. And then again 2.5 added, you reach out to 100. So equal uh, 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 this division of that, right? So what it tells you, essentially how your data is distributed. So it will be more important when you are doing data summary or data analysis. But I just told you these things exist, right? The whole purpose is you do this, you see what is the mean value, and you fill the value with the mean value. Okay, so here I can fill, instead of 0 I could have put 95. But now you see what will be the problem. It has filled 95 everywhere. So here I wanted, but it has filled 95 here also and here also. This is what not I want, right? So we will see that how we can do this operation column wise. So which means that I have to perform this operation column wise, right? I in one shot I cannot do, correct? But let's say if everything is same and you just want to replace with one single value, you can do that using this df fill na and simply give that value. Okay, cool. Then you have drop NA as well. So one way is you can fill with some value, right? Other is you can simply drop it. So let's say if you have very few NAs, you can actually simply drop them. And how you can drop them? Let's see this case. Let me define a new data frame. So this is I have, right? So what I can do is I can simply do a df dot drop na. There is this drop anything. Let's say if I just do this, what happens? So you see, it will check for all the rows, and wherever it will file na, it will drop them. So there is just one single row I got where there was no null, and that's what it kept. And it has removed all the other rows wherever na was coming. At least one it will come, it will remove. So this is dangerous because let's say if only one column I have NA, but still I'm replacing or I'm deleting all the rows, which is wrong, right? I should not be using directly. So there are other things also which you can do. So let's see them one by one. So what I can do is, as you saw, right, drop NA, it will drop all the things, which is something which I don't want to do, correct? So what we can do over here is, here they have not told, there is something called, so one thing in Jupyter Notebook when you're working. So let's say I wanted to know what are the different arguments within this, because I know this is not the way. This is not what I want. That I don't want to remove all the rows, right? I just want to do few selected rows. So I know there has to be some arguments. So simply you can do Shift Tab, right? So as you press Shift Tab, these kind of things will come up. So you can just expand this and see. So as you can see here, these are different arguments. So there is this argument how, and actually I was looking for this, like how I should be dropping it, right? So it gives you doc string, that it removes missing value. You can read about it. It tells you X is like whether you want to drop it row wise and column wise. So now you see here, yesterday I was telling you in pandas it is other way around. So that's what it is. Here X is 0 means it is row wise operation. X is 1 which means it is column wise operation, right? Then there is any, and then there is all. Any means if any value are present, drop that row or column. If all are present, then only drop that column, right? So let's see them one by one. Okay, so let me close this. So let me see first, if I do how may all, what does it mean? So you see it has not dropped anything, because it will drop only if all the rows are null, like all the column values are null, right? If it would have been here, all these its values would have null, right? Then only it will remove, otherwise it won't. Okay, so actually this is helpful, right? Wherever everything is null, that only I want to remove, right? So that is one way. Other thing could be I can do it axis wise also. So how axis wise? Simply I can give axis, let's say 0. If I do this, what happens? So it is performing row wise operation. So wherever it is checking, all null, it is dropping. So so by default, you can now figure out that x is equal to 0 is given, and how is any. So let's say if I do x is equal to 1, I got this. So now it is doing this column wise operation. So in any column, if there is any, it will drop. So you see it will drop here, here. Only this one is left, third score. All other columns have left. Okay, so you can play this drop NA like this. There will be other advancement also, we will see that, right? But for now, this is sufficient. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, perfect. Let's get going. Now we'll learn how do we iterate over data frame, right? So yesterday also we saw in arrays how we can iterate, right? There are two ways. I already told you there is direct way, that IDTR items, or you can put a for loop first for rows and then for columns, right? Likewise, you can iterate. Now let's see what are different items in Pandas. So here also there are similar things: ITR items, ITR rows, ITR tuples. So let's see them one by one. Okay, what it is. So if I do ITR rows, what it does is, in order to get each element of a row, right? Yeah, okay. So I'm just seeing, I have not missed, right? So ITR items, okay, they may show it later. Okay, so what we can do is, for I and j, df this. So let's do this, right? Let's see this and let's see what happens. So you see here what it has done. For I and j df itr rows, I am simply printing I and j, right? So what's happening is, first value was 100, then it was 30. So it is going again likewise, 100, 30, 52, nan. Then again this value came, 90, nan, 40, like this. And that's what it was giving, right? So that's how it has come. So it has told that first 0 row has come, then first row, then second row, then third row. Okay. So it go row wise, because it is ITR rows. So it is iterating row wise. Okay. Then iterating over columns. So what is in iterating over columns? You can simply do it like this. So if you don't want to iterate over rows, you just want to iterate over columns, you could have given this. So what it is, I have simply defined what are the columns. So if you run this and if I print columns, what it is, it's simply column names. Okay, I could have, instead of list df, I could have given df dot columns also. That also will give me the same thing. It's just that it will not be a list. So I have to put it in a list, right? So if I do like this, it will be like this. So this is a shortcut of this. You don't have to give df columns. If you convert it df into list, you will get automatically the column names. Okay, so now I'm just simply iterating in this for loop, and I'm simply, what I'm doing, first, what is the column? Now in this column, which row I am iterating, which row I want. So I want second row, correct? So in this df, if you see what is my second row, this. Actually second index row, it is this, actually third row, right? Nan 45, 80, nan. So that these are the values you are getting, right? Nan 45, 80, nan. So that's how you can iterate over rows or columns. Okay, let's see quickly if I iterate over items. So what happened? So there is items also. So then it goes like this. So then it goes column wise. So first it complete column. So 100, 90, 95. Then it goes to second column, 30 like this. Then it goes here and then it goes here. So it's up to you how you want to iterate, right? If you want to iterate row wise, then you go ITR rows. Or if you want column wise, then you go ITR items. Or if you just want to iterate in particular column, then you can go like this. Okay. Cool. So there are other methods also apart from these. So like index is there. So if you do df.index now, it will return you what are different row names are there, right? So like similar to, it's not callable, sorry. So whenever you get this error now, it's not callable. So what I did actually, somehow I get confused what is attribute and what is function. So I just put this brackets. So sometimes it might work, sometimes it give error, so you have to be careful. So it is clearly telling me that the object is not callable, which means that, what does this mean? Whenever you put parenthesis, it means that I'm trying to call this function. And what error it is giving? It's saying it is not callable. इसका मतलब इसको ये जरूरत नहीं है. All you have to do is just like this. Okay. So then it gives you, it's a range index from 0 to 4 with a step 1. Okay, so I got what is the index name, right? So you can get index. So all these things, whatever is telling here, right? All these methods, you can try them out, right? Unique, value count, columns, access is not null. So everything is mentioned in detail over here, right? And I think location, ilog, ix, shape, sample, duplicate, drop duplicate. So it can find duplicated data also in your system, right? So let's me show you that as well. So let's say if I have a duplicated data, right? Let me simply copy paste this. Okay. This is my df. So I have first and second row at exactly same. So if I do df dot drop, so you see duplicates. Let's see what happens. If I do this, you see it has, what it has done. I think again in this I will have to pass some indexes. So keep literal first. I think it's row wise. Actually it is row wise, it checks duplicate. So I will have to make two rows same. So for that, what will I have to do is, this is 100. So here also I have to make it 100, 100. Okay. Then this also 52. Yeah, I think now it makes sense. Now if I do drop duplicates, you see now it has dropped. So now what it has does is, actually earlier if you check now, मेरे कॉलम दो सेम हो गए थे, तो इट डजंट चेक फॉर कॉलम डुप्लीकेसी. एक्चुअली में आप खुद देखो. सो थिंक लाइक दैट, राइट? इफ यू आर रीडिंग अ डेटा फ्रेम, व्हाट इज डुप्लीकेट? एनी रोज are same, that is duplicate, right? Any two rows same, so this entire row is same with this, so this is my duplicate, right? So you can simply do drop duplicates. It will identify this, there is this row which is duplicated, so it will just keep one. Okay. So by default, it will just keep one. There was another parameter, as you might have seen, keep. So you here you can define keep first, keep last, or whatever you want, right? If you want to keep first, last, or whatever, by default it will keep first, and it's done. That's how you can drop the duplicates. Okay. Then there is something called reset index. So here you might have observed now one is missing, right? So 0 aaya, 2 aaya, 3 aaya. So there is some problem. So you can do the reset index. So what it will do, reset, it will reset your index. So simply if you do, uh, okay, sorry, I think I gave one thing. Yeah. So you see now it has made 0, 1, 2, 3. But again, one thing what it did, इसने एक index का column बना दिया. So if I don't want that, what you can do is you can say drop equal to true. So I want to drop, as in I don't want to create a column out of it. I just want index to be resetted. That's it. So if I do that, now you see it has not created a again and one more column. It's just that it has revised. So pehle 0 2 3 tha, now it has become 0 1 2. That's all. So all these things you may not remember as of now, but if you practice, right? If you see, okay, minute duplicate drop k, now my index are not in a line. So how do I reset it? So you can say reset index. Then you saw, okay, again it has created a column. So I don't want to do that. So you can simply like what I'm trying to say is you will not know in first shot that what to do when something is happening. So the best way to do is you search your problem. You search that how you know, I mean in normal English term, you know, right, that you want to reset your index, isn't it? So you can simply say how to reset index in Python. You will get, using Pandas, you will get it in the first shot, right? So here it is, Pandas reset, all these things, it tells you how to use it. So reset index, so as you can see here, it has created an index. Now you can say that what happens if named index is reset, like that, right? So you can read it out, but you will have to do the practice, otherwise you won't get it. Okay, cool. So these are some of the operations. Then let's see how creating a data frame. So you can give a blank data frame also. So you can just define pd.data frame. Now it is a blank data frame, right? Typically we use it whenever, let's say I want to run some operation, right? And then I want to store some value over a loop. Okay, so that time we create a blank data frame and then we start inputting values within that. Right. So now create a data frame using list. You can give a list and create a data frame like this. From dictionary, you can do it. So I just show you. You have to make sure that length of all the items in your dictionary is same. Okay. Then list of, yeah, so the same thing, right? List of dictionary you can create, right? So all these things we have seen. Then let's see what all different operations are there in Panda series. Right. So if you have a series, simply a list you can pass, and that's it. You can you can create a series from list as well. Right. So here you have defined a list. You just simply do pd.series. So you have got your list. Right. Accessing element of series, the same way you can do. Right. So let's say here, the same way we learned, right? Indexing of data frame, the same way you can do this also. So this is your series. Now let's say you want to do this, right? So all the first five will come. Let's say if you want in between, you can say 5 to 8. So likewise you can say, right, 5 to 8 will come over here. So 5 to 8 is this FOR. So likewise you can do indexing or accessing the series. Okay, accessing element using labels. So with labels also you can do, uh, where you can just give the indexes, what are the different index, and then you can just give the label name instead of the index location. Okay. uh, then you have subset selection, then you can do the same thing with location and iloc also. Same thing over here also. Like for location, you have to give the the label location. You have to see what is the label for rows. So you can just check dot. So in this case, if you do dot lock, right, it works the same way. Okay, the only difference you might have observed is for location, it considered fully. So it will consider eighth element also. However, earlier, if I do iLock, it does not do it. So that's the only difference. So for location, because it is actually checking for the names, so it doesn't know that it's a number, right? So it will select from here to here it has to run. In case of location, it's not a number. But in case of index location, it's a number, and that's why it knows that only 5, 6, 7 it has to run. It will not run 8. Okay. Cool. Any questions so far? I'll just take a quick break. Any confusion so far? Somebody asked, instead of mean, what are the other processes of filling null values? So, as I said, right, it depends on your problem statement. Most of the time, we use mean values only because that is what represent the entire data set, right? Or else, if you want to fill, let's say, any particular values, maybe 75th percentile or the maximum value, that's what you can use. But the best practice is fill, either you drop null values, or if you want to fill it with the mean values. So not mean values. So it may happen that mean value, you don't want to take the mean of entire column, but it might be related, right? So for example, you might have let's say a data frame where you have student marks for three subject. Okay, so for Hindi, English, maths. Now it so and then you have marks, right? So you have these three columns. So of course, let's say agar kisi student ke uh, if Hindi marks are missing, so of course you will not be taking a total mean of the entire marks column, right? Because it doesn't make sense. It has marks for maths also, it has marks for English also. So at the max, what you can do is you can just take all the values only for Hindi marks. You can take mean only for Hindi marks, and that value you can fill for Hindi. Same thing you can do for maths. You will take only math marks for all the student. You will take an average and fill wherever math marks are missing for any of the student. So this is the kind of practice is used. But if you ask um, mean, yes, mean is the way we fill it. But how you take the mean, that is what changes. Okay, I hope that clarifies your question. Okay. Uh, Fine then. Then let's. Uh, so Amar, you want to take now? You want to brief the class, like how you can access the things and all.
Yes,
Then
yes,
we'll
ma'am.
resume after that. Yeah, sure. Please take it over, and then we'll resume after that.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to share my screen. Just a minute. Hope my screen is visible to you. Once you open the dashboard of LMS, then you will see the all classrooms. Now you have the access of Python for DS classroom. Then just open the EDL program classroom. And once you open, you will see the curriculum and Meet. In Meet, you have the data of like at what time session was going on and join day, week, and month-wise sessions. So you no need to go there, but you need to access the material, then go in the curriculum. In the curriculum, if you want to fill the attendance, go on the start. You will see the attendance from here, and the attendance will be opened between 1:30 to 2:30. And if you want to access the material and recorded sessions, then go on the sessions material and recordings, click on starts. Here is the day wise material and recording. Be like Python for data science day 1, Python for data science day 2. We will see in the day 1, this is the recording. If you want to see the recording, then click here, you will redirect it to YouTube. And here is the PPT. You have not access to download the PPT, but you have access to download the material, practice files. So go on the practice file and download. Actually, we are not able to upload a IPYNB file. So we will convert the IPYNB file to the PDF and we will upload here. So just it will be redirected to the another tab on the Chrome. Just copy paste all thing and you will be used for practice. That's it. And day wise, every day the material will be uploaded in the LMS. So just visit there. That's it. There is no any another way. Everyday material is there. I will show 1 minute. Day 1, day 2 practice file is there. For day 3, there are 3 practice files. For day 4, there is no any material, only PPT. So PPT is uploaded there. So please refer that. If you have any queries, then post the email at the EDL at the ExcelR at the EDL.com. I will post the email address. Okay, thank you, ma'am. You can start now. Day 9 PPT, it will be uploaded by today. Once ma'am will share, I will upload that. Don't worry.
Okay. Hello everyone. I hope you now all the queries might have clarified for you regarding the content download and everything. So with that, let's start the session. Okay. Yep. So as we were discussing, right? So we saw how we can, do the slicing and indexing using the iloc and other functions. Then you have other binary operators like additional and subtraction. So let's say you have two series, right? And you can simply do add. So what it will do is it will simply add two series. So as you can see here, let me show you quickly. Let's say you have two series, and now if you want to say data1 dot add, right, you can do add data1. So likewise you can add these two series. So what it does is it will simply add 5 1 6 to 6 and 2 8, then 3 4 7 and 3 and 4 7. Okay, so no, not 3 and 4 7. So basically it will add index wise. So their indexes are different if you guys observe. So A, B, it's same, so that's why it has added. Then there is C. So C is 3, but here it did not find C, so that's why it gave a nan. Then there is D, that is 7, and D 7, here it is 4. So 7 and 4 11, and then again it found E over here, which is not there, and that's why it gave nan. Okay, so it will do the addition index wise. Okay. Similarly, abstraction will happen. And now let's say there are null values, right? So you could have given here fill, there is a this argument fill values. So what it will do is it will replace your nan values to 0. So if you do that, I think it's fill value. Yeah. So basically it has filled it with 0, as in the other value it has made 0. So there is 3, so it has come 3. It was 9, so it has come 9. Okay. So wherever there was nothing, it assume that it's 0 and it will do the same thing. Okay. So that's how you can do add. Similarly, you can do subtraction. Okay. So this add and subtraction can be done similarly. Then what you have, then you can check the like drop any, we have already seen, right? So dropping null values column to avoid error, so that you can do. Then you can check the data types also. Okay, so let's see what different kind of conversion we can do, conversion operation, right? So let me copy paste the same thing over here. Okay, I don't have this NBACSV. How can I download? There has to be a link. Let me quickly check. There is this NBA data what they are loading, right? So let me see how, if they have mentioned somewhere to download that data. Yeah, here it is, right? We are using NBA CSV. So if you click on this, it's downloaded. So let me put it wherever I am using that, right? So here I have made. Okay, cool. So now I can work on this data. So this is the conversion operation what they are doing, right? So I'm just importing, and let me show you what this data looks like first. Okay, so this is the data. It says no such file or directory. Why? Let me check what is the current directory. Oh, so my current directory is here. This user's Neha, and my file is not here, and that's the reason it says that file not found. So let me do one thing. Let me close this. Let me open the file there itself. So let wherever I have, right. So let me go to the documents, DS course material, Python for DS. So I have copy pasted here that file. So let me create the file here itself. Okay. So then I have to again import and does as PD. Okay. Now I will be loading the data. Okay. So now I see it has worked. So this is my data. So what I can do is I can simply check right? So I can, there is something called data.info also you can do, like describe. So what it will do is it will tell you all the information about the data. So it will tell you there are 458 rows, there are 9 columns, so these are the columns, and it will tell you the d type also. You see here, data type. So it will tell you name is object. So object, string column comes as object in Python, right? So it is object, name and team. Then there is number, which is float. Then there is position again, which is object. Age again, it's float. So height, weight is float. Height seems to be object, so I think this is a problem, right? Height, it should be number, right? But no, then which means that we may have to do some type kind of a conversion. Okay, no, not really, because in height they have given a range, so that's why it is coming as object. Okay. Then you have college, and then you have salary. Okay. So these are the data. Now let's say, all right, let me do one thing. Let me drop if there is any. So let me do this. If there are any NAs, it will simply drop it. So I can do this data drop NA in place true. And if I do this data.info again, so it has dropped. You see, earlier there were 458 entries. Now there are only 364 entries. So we have dropped the null null values in this case. Okay. Then so here one thing you will observe, I did not save it back, but still, it, my data has got changed. So the reason is very simple, because some of the operation by default inherit the property. So I'm here this doing this in place equal to true, right? So I am actually replacing it out, and that's the reason my data itself getting changed. Okay. So earlier I had 458, so now I think I have removed almost close to 90 entries. Okay. Then let's see. So I know my salary and my number has to be in string. So how can I convert it? So let's say I salary, I have a float, right? I don't want it to be float. I want to convert into integer. So what I can do is I can simply do like this. So as types are the functions which you can use to convert. So let's say what I'll do is I want to replace my salary column with what? Whatever is the existing salary column, I'm converting is as type into integer. Earlier it was float, so I'm converting into integer by simply doing as type and again saving it back to the same column. If I will give another column, it will create a new column. But I don't want to create a new column. I want to replace the existing column. That's why I'm saving it back to the original column. Similarly with number it was float. I want to convert into a string, because this number might be something which, I'm not sure, might be object, so I'm converting into a string. So now if I do this, and again if I check the data.info, you see these conversions have happened. So now salary is, it is integer, and number it is object. Earlier it was number was float and salary was also float. So now these thing has been converted. So likewise you can do the data conversion, and it is very important. Trust me guys, whenever you are doing data analysis, right, this is the very few step which you do. You load the data, you check what is the info, you check what is described, right? You check all the data type whether it is appropriate or not, because if your data types are not appropriate, your analysis will not make sense. You will not even realize, but whatever charts you are drawing, those will not be appropriate. Okay. So pay attention to the data types, it's very important. Okay. So likewise you can check, change the data type dot s type. Okay. And if you want to check the data, one thing is you can simply do data.info, or you can do data.d types also. Both ways you will get the data types of each column. Okay. Then in here what you are doing, we want to, what we want to convert into a list, that also we can do. So let's say I want to extract one column of a data and want to use it for some other purposes, right? I can do that. I can just simply take the data column and make a to list. So there is a direct operation called to list, which means that I am converting this column, because this column will be a series, right? I want to convert into a list and work on it. So you can convert into a list dot to list and use it for some other purposes. Okay. So as you can see here, earlier it was series, right? Because you just put one column. And if you put double brackets, then it will be a data frame itself. But you wanted to convert into a series, so you did to list, or you could have given list also. Then also it will work. So you could have given a equal to list of, then you could have given data, salary. Then also if you do type of a, it will be a list. You see, it's a list. So both ways, either you can do list or you can do to list also. Both ways work, right? The only thing, as I said, right, this list is direct function of default function of Python. If you do to list, it is an operation of Pandas. So that's what I was telling you yesterday. If there are two things which exist, and if you know one is from Pandas, always do it from Pandas. Because in this case, maybe data is short, you may not realize, but doing it Pandas way, it will be faster. Okay, so if I know two options, doing converting a list this way or doing to list, I should have preferred to list operation. Okay, likewise you have many other thing: add, subtraction, multiplication, division, sum, product, mean, power, absolute. All these functions exist, right? Then you have size, count, name, is unique, duplicate. All these things exist, so you can see over here. So for example, there is something called value count also. So what does it mean? Let's say you have in a data, right, and you have some repeating thing. So it may happen that in this data frame, you might you would want to check how many times, this particular team, how many people are there. So what you can do is just do data teams. Okay, then there is something called value count you can do. You So if you are not sure what all things you can perform, just type initial thing and press a tab. So tab will show you what all options are available. Okay, so in this case, value, see, it does sometimes, it might take a little longer. So in this case, see, you see, it took a little while, but that's fine. You see, it is giving you blue count. So there are these many things in your teams. So new Oriel, this one is coming 16 times, this is coming 15 times. Likewise, you can count that how many particular values are appearing. So of course, this is useful for your object columns, like categorical column we say, right? Because it is not true for salary, because all the things will be, even though it will give, but it doesn't make sense, right? Because salary, it is mostly one will be appearing one time only, right? Okay, there are few items that this much salary has been given to 26 people, but it doesn't make sense, right? It only makes sense, this value count operation, for categorical column or a string column, which you know that will not be a unique for each row. So for example, for name, I don't think so it makes sense, because name will be individual thing, right? There will be 364 unique person, so everything will be one, so it doesn't make sense to do on that. So it only makes sense for the categorical column, where you see they might be repeating. Okay, cool, fine. So let's try out some more hands-on operations. So we saw creating a data frame. uh, then let's go quickly over this, because there are so many operations, right? So let's go quickly over that. So we already saw what is a describe, right? So basically it tells you a quick snapshot of all these things, what all things are there, right? So let's say if I want to do describe over here, so you see, it just did for age, weight, salary, because these are the three columns only numeric: age, weight, and salary. Other columns are strings. So there, it doesn't, you cannot get mean or all these numerical values for string columns, right? So it will only do for strings, for numerical columns. So that's how you can get the describe method. Okay. Then I mean, let's say even if you want to do it of a string column, you can do. But what will happen is, let's say specifically you decide, no, I want to do of this. So it will tell you, but it tells you that, okay, this is count, this is unique, and likewise. Similarly, for team also, if you do, it will tell you there are count is 364, but unique are 30. Okay, and then it will tell you frequency of top. So top performing is Neo-Orient PRS and frequency. So you can get it done the for the numerical for the categorical column also, but you have to tell them specifically. If by default you will do, it will just tell you for numerical column. Okay. Cool. Then dealing with rows and columns. So yeah, in here we already saw if you want to select multiple columns, you have to give two brackets. Within that, you can give column names and you can subset your data column wise. Similarly, row wise also you can do by simply giving the row indexes using dot location or giving the name, right? Then you can do the column delete also. So let's say if you want to drop some columns, right, you could have simply do this. Okay, let me show you guys. So let's say data dot drop, you can give the column name what you want to drop, and you have to tell x is equal to 1 because this is a column wise operation, correct? So if I do this, if I simply check and see my data, you see it has not dropped. Why? Because I did not give in place. If I do in place equal to true, iska matlab it will replace the actual data. So now you see, now it has done. So that's why, let's say if you want, like it is equivalent to if you don't give but you define back that data is equal to that. Okay, so likewise you can do, this is just a short form. If you are giving in place equal to true, matlab it will modify your original data itself. Okay, so that likewise you can drop the columns if you want. This is dropping columns. Dealing with rows, so after giving location you can do that, right? So as we saw, if I read it by default without giving an index, so you see name was coming as a column. But if I give in while reading itself index column, my name column will no longer be a column. It will be a row indexes or row names. So which I can pick using this lock function. Any questions so far? No? Okay, fine. Let's get going then. Then you have row additions. So you can do a row addition using concatenate. So yesterday also we learned two functions, right? Concatenation or horizontal stack or vertical stack. Concatenation works here also. Yesterday it was part of NumPy. Here it is part of Pandas library. So if I want to concatenate something, what I can do is I'll tell you all these things. Just wait, okay? So let's say this is my data now. Okay, so now this is my data. Let's say I created a new row, which is Pandas data frame. So I have to make sure now that each and everything are same. Now, since I have deleted those two things, so I have to delete team also, because then it will give error, right? It will not concatenate row, new row, because my column length has to be same. Name, number, position, age, height. Then I have to remove weight also, college and salary. Let's see if I jumble up what happens. So I'm just jumbling it up, that I'm not giving in a exact order. Let's see if it merges correctly or not. Okay, so I gave all these things. I'm giving age over here, right? Then you have this index as a row, correct? So now let's see, I'm concatenating. So pd dot concatenate. So in here in brackets, you have to give what you want to concatenate. So let's say if I'm giving new row, iska matlab it will concatenate first. So this will come at top. Then I'm concatenating the data, right? The data frame which I have, and then I'm simply saying reset index dot drop equal to true. We will see if I don't give it what happens. Let's see if I don't do it, if I don't do any reset index, then what happens? Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, and here again for safety purpose, you should define x is equal to 0 because it's a row wise operation. Okay, so let's see what I got from df. So it gives me error. Why? Okay, I don't have the comma over here. So you see, that's how you resolve. So it gave me syntax error. It said something is wrong over here. So what was wrong? Of course, I know something is wrong over here in this region. And wrong, and what was wrong? Actually, I forgot to give comma. So that's why it was giving error, syntax error. Okay, so now I run, see it has worked. So it has worked and it has mapped correctly. So you see, it's not like ki salary ka, because I jumbled up the column names, right? I gave salary, but it added up correctly, just that it also changes the order. So it tried to maintain the order of whatever row I gave it first, right? So it has salary, and now you see other salary columns are also same. It's not like it has jumbled up salary and age number. No, it will detect what is my column name, and that's how it will do. If you don't give a column name, then yes, then it doesn't know how to identify, and then it will simply concatenate just to make sure that my number of lengths of columns are same. That's all. Okay. So, but the problem over here is, you see, there are two zeros now because there is no order, right? There is no 2 in between, there is no 5 in between. So I want to reset the index. So that's why I have to give dot reset index, and I have to give drop equal to true. Otherwise, if I don't give, it will create an index column, which I don't want. So if I do like this, then you see it has worked correctly. Now it is starting from 0, 1, 2. Okay, and if I do the reverse of it, then I think it will maintain the original structure, does that it will add in the bottom. So earlier it was adding at the top, right? Now it has added at the bottom. And you see, now it has maintained the order of whatever was there original. So it doesn't matter, it is up to you. Typically, what is the bigger data set, we give it first, and then whatever we want to add on, we give it at last, because ultimately I want to add on, right? So I would want to add on at the bottom, not at the top. Correct? Most of the times I'm saying. So that's how you can do it. You can do the concatenation. Similarly, you can do the concatenation, the column wise also. So you can have a data wherein you have all these 364 row, length of rows, and you can concatenate over here. Basically, you can add one more column, maybe the what do you say, nationality, and you should have it for all 364 people. So you can concatenate. Simply you have to give x is equal to 1 over there in that case. That's all. Nothing else will change. Okay. Likewise, you can do concatenation row wise and column wise. So horizontal stack or vertical stack. Okay. Any confusion in concatenation or something? I see a lot of hands raised. So are there any queries? No? Everything good? I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible. Okay, perfect. Okay, then let's get going. So then it was about concatenation. Then you can do row deletion also. So simply आप data dot drop कर सकते हो. If then in that case you have to give row name. Only thing is you have to give x is equal to 0 in this case. Okay, for column it was x is equal to 1. For rows it is x is equal to 0. Here you don't see anything because by default value it is 0. So if it is row wise, you can choose not to give, but the best practice is you should give it, because it has to be clear that if you want to delete row or a column. Okay, so likewise you can delete. Then let's see what more is there. Then we already saw how we can extract data using dot location. So likewise I can extract the rows of it using location and give the name. Okay, then I can give a range also. So whatever rows between these two, Evrian is Ella Thomas, right? It will actually extract those many rows, right? So I think we have already seen this. Just give me 1 second. Huh? Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. Am I audible now? Can any of you confirm if I'm audible? Okay, fine. Okay, cool. So then work on extracting rows using Pandas iLock. So just like location, you can use iLocation. Just that, like I already told you the difference, right? Location works for the names or labels. iLocation works for position. So you can actually count and see what all positions you have, and then you can give all those position, row ka position, and extract those rows from 4 to 8. Or if you just want to give a value, you can just do that 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. Okay. So this was all about indexing and selecting the data frame. So I think we have seen enough of it, right? Then, okay, right. So, so all these things we have already seen. So I'm just quickly skipping them over. So if you want to give both things together, you can give it like that, right? So you can give iLock, which means that if you are giving entire range, iska matlab all the rows, and for columns, you are giving only 1 and 2. So second and third column will be selected for entire rows. Okay, likewise, you can do the indexing of the data. Okay, then yeah, I think that's much. Let's see what all we have. Let's go to some more original operations. uh, okay, yeah, panda boolean indexing, I think this is fine. Mhm. So Boolean indexing is nothing but, like, we saw yesterday also, right, in NumPy, that you can check for a condition, it will convert into true and false, and you can just simply select using those indexing. So wherever it is true, it will be selected. So same thing you can do over here. So as you can see here, right, मान लीजिए you have a dictionary and you created an index, true and false, right? So if you simply select this data frame, right, using df dot location true, so only the trues one will be selected. Okay. So this is not used much. Simple reason is there are other better command for filtering, which will be see in a while. So that's the simple reason why this is not used much. uh, okay, so now let's try out some more important operations. Let's see how to do that. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So this is very, very important function in Pandas group by, and you will see a lot when you are actually doing the analysis, and just pay attention. So as I was telling you, right, yesterday also, whatever is important one, I will tell you clearly. You have to be very careful. So just pay attention to this particular function. It is very important. Okay, so it's a very simple concept, group by. We can create a grouping of categories and apply a function to a categories. Okay, it's a simple concept but extremely valuable technique, and it has been widely used in data science. In real data science projects, you will be dealing with large amount of data and trying things over and over. So for efficiency, we use group by concept, and it's really important. Okay, so there are certain things which you can do in this function. Is a splitting. It is a process in which we split data into groups by applying some condition on data set, right? Then applying, it is a process in which we apply a function to each group independently, and then we combine. So this entire group by function has three major steps. One, you split based on certain groups. then you apply certain functions, and then you combine all the results into one. Okay, so let's look at one example. Okay, so let's say in this case, what I'm saying is group the unique values of the team column. So let's say if I want to do the statistics, so we saw right in this data set, we had team columns, correct? So in this team columns, let's say I want to know uh, how many people are there in Boston team, or what is the average age of Boston team as comparative to Brooklyn team. Correct, I can see that, right? Because all these part of data analysis. The very first thing, if you really want to compare teams, if you want to do the analysis, that's all you will do, right? You will see that what is the average size of one team versus other, what is the distribution of age versus other, right? What is the weight of the people one team versus other. So basically this is nothing but group by function I want to call, because I want to group people based on their team. Now it can be any other column also, right? So grouping can happen based on a categorical column, correct? So that's how you can create a bucket. So let's say Boston एक team हो गया, Brooklyn team हो गया, Utah का एक team हो गया. So all these people you can put it into different groups, and you can get the statistic of it. So let's say what is the, how many people are there, what is the average statistics that you can get. So you can get a function of it. Let's say I want to get a average weight of all these groups, right? So that's what I can get it. So this is a process what you will be getting. Now how you will be doing it? Very simple, in just one single line. And I'll tell you how. Okay. So how you have to give it? First you have to tell on what basis you have to split into groups. So in this case it is teams. Correct? So you have to give that key, that on what basis I want to group by. So you will have to tell that data frame group by, and you have to tell the key. Okay. What is your key? In this case it is team column. Okay, then you have to give access, and then you can actually give multiple keys also. So let's say if you want to group team, and also you want to group, let's say some other categorical column is there. I'm not sure in this case what, but let's say there is within team also there is houses, like maybe red house, green house, or white house. So within that team, again you want to put a differentiator of house also. So you can give multiple keys also for grouping by. So you just give comma and give multiple keys. But let's take it first simple. Let's see grouping data with one key first. Okay. So this is the data. Let me show you this thing in notebook itself. So let's say this is the data, right? Here, what is wrong? Nothing is wrong. Okay. So this is the data, right? I have name, age, address, and qualification. Now what I want to do? I want to simply group by names. Okay. So what I did, simply I did a df dot group by with name. So it created an object. Now let's see what is this object. I can simply check it out. It's groups actually. You see it has created a group based on name. That is Abhi has come only what one time. Then there is Anuj, right? Anuj is, so Abhi is has come, that is at the 7 index. Then there is Anuj, that is as 1 and 5 index. Then there is Gaurav, that is again only at 4th index. Then there is Jay, it has come twice, 0 and 2. And Princey again twice, 3rd and 6th. So entire data set it has divided into two groups, into not groups, two groups, but into these many groups based on the name. Similarly, I could have given name and address also. So I have to put into a square bracket if I'm giving multiple keys. Okay. So I could have given address also. Do you see how many groups it has created now? So Abhi with Aligarh, correct? Because Abhi is with Aligarh, right? Similarly, Anuj with Kanpur, right? Because Anuj has come, Anuj with Kanpur, right? But again, Anuj has come twice, but both time it was with Kanpur, right? So Anuj with Kanpur. So it has at 2 index, 1 and 5. Similarly, Jay with Allahabad has 2 because, right? So Jay and Allahabad now it has come twice, but both the places were different. So one combination is Jay with Nagpur, another is Jay with Allahabad. So now it has created a subgroup. Okay. So if I show you the length, just give me 1 second. So with this length command, you can check what is the length of this, right? So first check length of this group is 7. Now let's say with name, how many groups were there? It will be less or more? It will be less. So with name, there were 5 groups simply because there were 5 unique names, and with name and address, there were 7 groups. Okay. So likewise, it create multiple groups based on the keys. So it divides your data. It does the splitting. Correct. Now, once it has done the splitting, what you can do? You can check that you can apply multiple operations. Okay. So grouping data with multiple keys, we have already seen that you can give multiple keys. It will create a multiple key data set, right? You can store this also. So you can actually uh, store. Now you can actually apply some operations. So what kind of operations? Let's say I just want to know how many people are there. So which means that I can simply do sum of it. So what it will tell? I want to see how many people are there in each, name wise. So you see, it is just telling me the um, sum of the name, but just a second, why it has only given age? Okay, because age was only the number. Okay, numerical number. That's why. Okay. For counting, actually, I should have done the count. Yeah. So for if I do count now, it will just tell me how many counts are there. So what it is doing, it has created a group with name, as you can see name, and it has just given me the count that Abhi has come 1, Anuj has come twice, Gaurav has 1, Jay has twice, and you see all these values are same in all the columns because simply like it is just checking, right? So how many unique values are there? So it's gonna be same for all of them. So basically it's all count. So if you want like that, you can actually give only one column for which you want to perform this operation and done with it. So you will just get 1. Okay. Same thing here. You could have given. So by default, sum if you want to do, it is applicable only for a numerical column. That's why you don't see other columns. If you want, you can specifically mention for age column. Otherwise, leave it like that. It will tell you for all the numerical columns. So what it has done, it has added up. So for Abhi, what was the age? 32. So it's 32. For Anuj, age was 24 and 36. So it has added the two because I said I want to perform sum operation. So it has added off the two groups. I mean, two things because it has divided into 5 group na 1 2 3 4 5. So whatever is value in that group, Anuj ke group mein it has added up. Similarly, J ke group mein bhi दो value था 27 and 22. So it had added up. So it add up to 49. So that's what it has done. Similarly for Princey, it has added up. So likewise, it will, so all you have to understand is it will divide the group based on the key and it will perform whatever operation you will ask for. Similarly, let's say in this case, instead of name, I would have given address also. तो उतने groups बना देगा. You see, likewise groups it has created. कि अभी के अलीगढ़ है तो ये है, अनुज के संग सिर्फ कानपुर था तो इट हैज एडेड अप. नाउ जय के संग इलाहाबाद भी था और नागपुर था, इसीलिए अलग अलग रखा. इट इज नॉट एडेड अप क्योंकि ये दो अलग अलग एंट्री ग्रुप्स है. करेक्ट. पहले 5 ग्रुप थे बट अभी 7 ग्रुप है. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. ओके. So it will perform that operation group wise. Any confusion so far? क्लियर है ग्रुप बाय कैसे यूज करना है. वी विल सी इट्स मोर एडवांस्ड यूज केस बट एटलीस्ट बेसिक्स आर सिंपल कि वेयर व्हाई वी हैव टू यूज इट, व्हेन डू वी यूज इट. ओके कूल फाइन. Then you have grouping data with object attributes, right? So that's what you can do. So let's say you've created a group, you can see the groups. Now you can iterate over the groups also. So you can simply आपने group create कर दिया है. In this group you have name and that particular group that you can go along. So you can iterate on this. We'll see more advanced functions. Okay. Now so then you can say selecting a group also you can do. So group, let's say you have stored this information. Within that you can say get group with the name. So you will get the name of that group particularly, right? So all these things are not that useful. This is important. Applying function is important. Okay, so far we learned splitting. How do I split into group? Now let's see how do I aggregate based on the group. Okay, so after splitting a data into group, we apply a function to each group. In order to do that, we perform some operation. So what are those operations? We do aggregation. So it is a process in which we compute a summary statistics about each group. Okay, for example, compute group sum or means. So it's a for entire group, right? Like we can take mean of it, or we can simply do addition of it, right? Then we can do transformation. So transformation, it is like group specific transformation and return like index. For example, filling NAs with groups with a value derived from each group. So मैंने अभी आपको ये example दिया था. So let's say I don't want to fill value only for for the entire column. I want to fill NA specific to that particular subjects. So I could have done group by on subjects, right? I could have written over here fill NA with mean. So it will calculate mean for each group and it will fill with that value. So that's how specific you can get. Okay, then you can do filtration also. Basically, if you want to perform some filtration based on group wise, you can do it. So let's see them one by one. Okay, so let's see first aggregation first. Okay, so I've created this group. Now actually we have already seen the aggregation, right? Simply आपको df dot group by करके you just have to say what operation you want to perform. If you want to perform sum, you can do that. If you want to perform mean, that also you can do. You can just give mean. So now it has given you the mean value of that. तो आप चेक कर सकते हो कि इस पर्टिकुलर बंदे का इस एड्रेस में कितना एवरेज एज है, राइट? सो दीज थिंग्स यू कैन डू. सम हो गया, राइट? तो इट्स अप टू यू. ऑलरेडी some mean these thing exist. If you want specifically to call out from NP, so that's why you are saying that numpy से directly call कर रहे हैं, that is also you can do. Okay, so group by aggregate. तो मतलब now in this case they have broken into two functions. So you might be wondering why that. So it's up to you how simply you want to write, right? Let's say मैंने ये लिखा है, मैं इसको इस तरीके से भी लिख सकती हूँ जैसे इन्होंने किया है. First I have group by, I have stored this group by over here. Let me do the same thing with address. Now simply मैं इसको aggregate कर रही हूँ mean से. So np dot mean. If you see, I will get the same results. Okay, NP is not defined. Let me define MP. So you see, it's the same results. Just that यहाँ पे थोड़ा simplified हो गया. यहाँ पे मैंने एक ही line में लिखा है इसको. Ultimately, I am saving this in a variable and then applying this. Correct? So I'm saving this in a variable and I'm saying that इसका property होता है aggregate का. So you aggregate, you then give the operation whatever you want to perform. Up to you how you want to do it. This is the best practice because here you are splitting things, right? It is more clear. First you created a group and then you are applying some operation on that. Okay, cool. So this is the aggregation function. Let's say you can actually perform multiple operations also in one shot. How? Simply आप उसी में aggregation function में आप दे सकते हो. So for example, आप इस तरीके से कर सकते हो. In fact, here only you should have given np dot sum. You see, likewise you can give. Instead of one function you can give multiple function at the same time. तो इसने आपको mean भी दे दिया, average mean क्या है और sum of the mean क्या है वो भी दे दिया. Simply आपको सेव करना है और इसमें aggregate देना है. इसका short form भी होता है. Short form is this AGG. AGG will also work. You don't have to give full. This will also work. Now as I was telling you, इस केस में सिर्फ हमारे पास एक ही numerical column था age. That's why it is giving you only for age. अगर आपके पास और भी कॉलम्स होते इट वुड हैव डन द सेम थिंग फॉर ऑल द न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम्स. ओके, बट लेट्स से इफ यू वांट टू बी स्पेसिफिक एंड डू ओनली फॉर वन पर्टिकुलर कॉलम यू कैन डू इट लाइक दिस. तो आप इस ग्रुप में सिर्फ उसी कॉलम को कॉल करिए एंड देन यू अप्लाई दैट फंक्शन ऑन ओनली ऑन दैट कॉलम. तो अगर आप ऐसा करोगे तो सिर्फ एज ही कॉलम पे होगा. तो दैट्स व्हाई यू सी एज इज नॉट रिटन नाउ. because by default I have done only for age operation, but in here age is written because अगर यहाँ पे कोई और column होता, you might see that column also over here. Likewise, जितने भी numerical column है सब पे ये implement कर देगा. Okay, so what we learned is how to do group by with one key and multiple keys. Then how we can perform operations on those groups, multiple operation also at the same time. Okay, clear? Then we can do apply different function to data frame columns. How we can do it? We can actually give like it. तो मान लीजिए मेरे पास ये वाला केस लेते हैं. अब मेरे पास दूसरा दो न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम्स है. ओके, so I have now two numerical columns, age भी है और score भी है. Now I want to perform some operation on age and some specific operations for score. How can I do it? Simply like this. Again मैंने सबसे पहले ग्रुप क्रिएट किए. अब मैंने उस ग्रुप पे एग्रीगेट किया. नाउ आई हैव टू गिव इट एज अ डिक्शनरी, क्योंकि एज पे मुझे सम फंक्शन लगाना है एंड स्कोर पे मुझे स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन लगाना है. ओके, सो लाइकवाइज आई कैन डू. सो जस्ट बी क्लियर दैट हाउ यू आर गिविंग. लेट्स सी, अगर मैं यहाँ np.sum देती हूँ तो विल इट वर्क? यस, इट वर्क. सो जस्ट बी क्लियर. अगर आप श्योर हो यही नाम है तो आप ऐसे दो, अदरवाइज यू डायरेक्टली गिव np.std, क्योंकि अगर आपने यहाँ कुछ गलत लिखा है इट विल tell you that you have made a mistake, that numpy has no attribute of this, so you can give a correct version of it. So you see now it has worked. पहले भी यही आ रहा था, right? If I don't do std, if I give it like that, I was getting the same thing, right? So now you see age के लिए हुआ है, score के लिए हुआ है, करेक्ट. और अगर मान लीजिए मैं ये नहीं देती और मैं डायरेक्टली ग्रुप एंड इसमें ये कर देती np.sum and np.std, you see okay, you see एज के लिए भी इसने सम और मीन निकाला और फिर स्कोर के लिए भी सम और मीन निकाला. तो इफ यू वांट टू डू समथिंग ओनली फॉर one column, you mention it clearly that only for score I want to get. तो ये आपको सिर्फ स्कोर के लिए देगा. Clear? Any confusion so far? I'll just take a small break because this is very important. अगर आपको ये चीज clear हो गया है, then half of the data analysis you guys know how to do. Okay, cool. Good. Then let's talk about transformation. So what kind of transformation we can do, right? So let's say you have the same data set. आप यहाँ पे इस तरीके से transformation भी कर सकते हो. So what are these transformation we are doing? As you can see here, अभी तक हम सिर्फ simple aggregated function लगा रहे थे, right? Now let's say I want to do some transformation. मतलब कि कोई predefined function which may not be available directly, right? So I can do that. How? Simply I created a group name wala. Then I can apply this function, right? So what is this function? I'm saying lambda x. So I told you, right? If it is one line function, आप उसको lambda से एक ही लाइन में डिफाइन कर सकते हो. अगर ये मल्टी लाइन फंक्शन होता तो आप मल्टीपल लाइन def करके डिफाइन करते. So right, so it is up to you. Basically sc is some function, predefined function, some user defined function which you want to perform, right? So here basically what I'm doing is I want to get the mean value of that. I want to subtract it and divide by standard deviation. So basically this transformation I want to do. So if I do that, you see I have got the values. Simply you do the transform and give that function. Here what does it mean? Basically age pe it has created, just a second, group by name. I'm just wondering, grp 1 2 3 4 5 groups, right? So I'm just wondering why there are 7 groups. I see it should be 5. Uh, oh, were there any null values? That's why. So this is clear. Just a second. If I give DA, so basically for Abhi, let's take one example. Abhi, right? It's 32. So 32 minus mean of that would be 32. So did you guys understand what I'm trying to solve here? Actually, I should see only 5 rows because there are only 5 groups based on names, right? Likewise, we are seeing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I do this transformation, I'm seeing more than that. So let's see what happened over here. Okay. Computation like indexed, transformation with an object index same size. Chunk. Group chunk. Just give me a moment. Let me give multiple things, right? Let's see. Okay. Now it has started giving NAs. So first of all, why NA is coming now? I'll tell you why NA is coming. Okay, I think I got it. Just a second. Let me show you guys. अभी अपन यहाँ क्या करते हैं, इसी में ग्रुप में ये जो नेम था, let me keep it like this. Okay, let me delete this. So wherever you are seeing NA, right? So first of all, so those, let me put standard deviation here also. Okay, दोनों कॉलम का स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन करते हैं. तो सबसे पहले NA कहाँ पे आ रहे हैं? जहां भी सिंगल वैल्यू है, यू आर गेटिंग NA ओवर हियर. वेरी सिंपल रीजन, सिर्फ एक वैल्यू से आप स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन नहीं निकाल सकते हो. यू कैन नॉट कैलकुलेट स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन यूजिंग वन सिंगल वैल्यू, एंड दैट्स द रीजन यू आर गेटिंग NA फॉर अभी एंड गौरव. Okay, clear? Now one thing is here also, when I'm creating this group, right? So for, is it getting repeated or something? uh Let me, just a second, let me see if I can give it like this. Oh yeah, I, okay. Okay, so this is what I wanted, but I was not sure why this, what this transformation is doing. Actually, we wanted to do this, right? I'll come back to this. Give me some time. First of all, what we wanted is simply aggregation is also like some kind of functions only we apply, right? So you can do like that. So here we saw that whatever is predefined function like simple function, standard deviation, sum, and each and everything that you can implement on these things. But let's say if you want to define some predefined function or user defined function like this, that also you can do by simply group aggregate and pass this SC. So what it is doing here, you can see again, right? It is giving you 5 groups because there are 5 groups, and for Abhi and Gaurav it is null because that's the null value, right? And then what you are getting is actually a range of x minus mean divided by standard deviation, right? So what it is doing basically, आपका it will calculate the mean value, okay, and it will subtract that value to that mean and divide by that. So there are actually two values of this, right? That's why you are seeing two values over here for age. अगर यहाँ पर अनुज के पास 3 entries होते, so you could have seen 3 values over here, because for each row it will calculate the value and it will store it, right? So that's why you are seeing two values over here like this. And I think that is what you are seeing multiple things over here. Okay, now I got it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So actually for Anuj, there will be two values, right? Because this is not a consolidation function. So, okay, I think let me repeat. So this is not an aggregation function, correct? Aggregate matlab you will get one single value for entire group, correct? That is what aggregation. तो अगर आप sum करते हो, count करते हो, standard deviation करते हो, you are getting one single value for entire group. So that's why we call aggregation function. But what is transformation? You are not getting one single value. You are simply transforming each and every value. So that's the reason why you were getting, even though you were having, 5 groups, but you will, and ultimately that is the thing, right? You want to transform the value. I want to fill, let's say, fill null value for each column, right? So I had how many columns? I had 8 columns. So that's the reason I am still getting 8 columns only. It's just that whatever is the value, it's there, it is getting transformed. तो for example अगर आप देखोगे जो DF है तो पहला J है, right? अनुज है तो जो अभी था that was last and its value was NA. Similarly गौरव का 4th place पे that was NA, and that's the reason you see 4 and 7 पे null है, correct? Because we just now we saw, right? There is NA for standard deviation, so you cannot calculate. But जहाँ भी जो values है, for example J का value है, if you calculate age, right, you will subtract it 27 minus mean, divide by standard deviation, so this is the value you will get. Similarly Anuj के case में you will subtract it with the mean value and this is the value you will get, correct? So that's the values you are seeing over here. So it was correct only. So you should be using transformation, not aggregation, because transformation you want to do, right? You don't want to aggregate. I'll take a pause. Are you clear between aggregation and transformation? When you have to do aggregation and when you have to do transformation? I will repeat again. Aggregation is when you want one single value for entire group. That's where you will use aggregation, because that's where, let's say if you have 5 groups, you will get 5 values. But transformation is something you want to transform your existing rows. So आपके number of rows जितने पहले थे data frame में उतने ही रहेंगे, only values will be changed. Okay? तो जो mean है यहाँ पे calculate करके आ रहा होगा, तो जो mean value subtract हुआ है, that would be different, right? तो in this case आपका mean जो हुआ होगा, if you want to really see it, तो आप simply mean देखो. you see अनुज के केस में मीन 30 है. ओके तो अनुज के केस में मीन 30 है, इसका मतलब क्या है? अनुज यहाँ पे 24 माइनस 30 करोगे तो यहाँ नेगेटिव आएगा, करेक्ट? एंड यहाँ पर अनुज 36 है तो यहाँ पॉजिटिव आएगा. एंड दैट्स द रीजन यू सी फर्स्ट प्लेस पे नेगेटिव आएगा एंड फिफ्थ प्लेस पे पॉजिटिव आएगा. एंड दैट्स व्हाट यू आर सीइंग हियर. फर्स्ट प्लेस पे नेगेटिव आया है अनुज एंड फिफ्थ प्लेस पे पॉजिटिव है, करेक्ट? सेम थिंग आप उसके लिए चेक कर सकते हो. दूसरे केस में, लाइक जय के केस में द मीन इज 24.5, राइट? सो फर्स्ट value is positive and this value will be negative, so that's what you see here. 0 पे positive है and second पे negative है, so that's how your values are getting calculated. Okay, clear? Aggregation and transformation. Okay, then you have something called filtration. So again it is a process if you want to discard some group. Okay, how you can do it? Simply up you can create groups and you can put a filter. So there is something called filter, wherever you can give the function or the condition that wherever length of the group, let's say it is less than 2, those only you want to keep. So if you implement this, right, so what will happen is so you see So you have Jay, you have Anuj, right? Like, what were the groups? So you don't have Abhi now because Abhi was having only one value. Similarly, you don't see Gaurav over here in this data frame because Gaurav was having just one thing. You see only Anuj, Jay, and Princey. So that's what you are seeing: Anuj, Jay, and Princey. Okay, because you could give a condition, length or count of that group has to greater than or equal to 2. अगर आप इसको मान लो आप इक्वल टू हटा दोगे ना तो नथिंग विल कम बिकॉज देर इज नो ग्रुप यू सी नथिंग विल कम देर इज नो ग्रुप विच हैज ग्रेटर देन 2 सारे ग्रुप मैक्सिमम सिर्फ 2 ही है ठीक है कूल आई होप इट्स क्लियर नाउ एग्रीगेशन ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन एंड फिल्टरिंग this was very important one group by functions so that's the reason I took this much time on this अगर आपको अभी भी कोई डाउट है ग्रुप बाय में you can clarify now no doubts all clear lambda I have already explained in function. It is nothing but like you give DEF, right? So you give DEF. So that is if multiple lines you want to perform, right? If let's say you want to write a function in one single line, that's where you use lambda. So it's nothing like you are saying lambda. So just like DEF, right? Similarly, आप पे lambda है आप use करिए. You say that what is your variable, that is x. You put a colon. So like in here also you give like that, right? Give your function name and give colon and then you give your thing whatever you want to do, isn't it? So same thing over here, lambda x, and you tell whatever you want to do with your x, that's all. So you could have written this function in this also. तो function में आप ले लेते कि आप x ले रहे हो, you could have written a created a function like this, that's all. I mean, you won't give x over here like this, of course. So this is a exact same thing it will do. So you want to see, let's say I created this. Instead of this, I could have given this group filter and I could have given function name. Let's see how it takes. Make lambda x is not defined. Yeah, so group filter, then I have to give condition, right? So this is my data frame, and then I will simply do grp equal to df dot group by, right? And I'm simply doing with name. I think in this filter it should have worked. Not sure why it is giving blank. Okay, because I am not returning something. Okay, got it. So basically why it was giving blank, because I have implemented this function but I was not returning anything, right? So that's the reason why it was giving something. But ideally this kind of function will not work. So whenever you have filtering, right, just give the condition directly, because it gets really complicated that what you want to return and all, right? So how you have to do is simply define lambda. You say that I'm writing a function, you tell what is the variable name, and here just give condition. So your condition is length of x, right? It is greater than 2. The problem what is happening over here, na, greater than equal to 2. So the problem over here, if I give directly like this, right, I will have to tell explicitly ki what is my x, what is I'm returning. Here you don't have any problem, and that's where it is getting complicated if I'm using this. So whenever there is a simple one line function, it's always preferred you do it like this, because you don't have to tell explicitly what you want to return, what is the argument you are giving. Already it will take the argument that जो भी different groups है इसके, those are the argument. Here I have to mention explicitly, and that's the reason it is not working. I mean, it will work, but I have to spend some time to write it, but this is the easiest way. Okay, so I hope now lambda is clear. Now simply let's look at the concatenating thing, right? So the let's quickly look at that also, how we can merge two data frames or concatenate or join, right? So merging two data frames, simply मान लीजिए मेरे पास ये दो data है which I want to merge based on that, right? So very simple thing is first concatenating in. Let's say you want to simply stack, right? Like yesterday we saw horizontal stack and vertical stack without any mapping of key. You just want to stack two data frames, that you can do using concatenating. Okay. So what it does is simply आप data define करिए. Okay, and you just do the concatenate, give df1 and df2. That's all. So if you want to see here, let me show you guys. These are the two data frames, right? And here what you can do is you just want to do the concatenate. So if you do pd concatenate, and I already told you, you just give date square bracket and just say df comma df1. That's all. देखो बाय डिफॉल्ट रो वाइज ऑपरेशन स्टैक करता है, तो 0 1 2 3 के बाद 4 5 6 7 कर दिया. ठीक है. If I want, I could have given x is equal to 1. See, now it has concatenated column wise. तो इसलिए column wise concatenate करने में क्या हुआ कि you see it has added its again name age address is इसके, and then again it has added over here. but यहाँ पे क्योंकि मेरे indexes अलग थे, that's the reason यहाँ पे 0 1 2 3 4 किया और फिर 5 6 7 किया. तो यहाँ पर NAs डाल दिया और यहाँ भी NAs डाल दिया. अगर if I want to avoid it, I should have make sure that I have the same indexes. तो उसके लिए अगर मैं यहाँ 0 1 2 और 3 देती, तो देखो, तो फिर एने वाला प्रॉब्लम नहीं आया, इसने सिंपली स्टैक कर दिया. तो ये कॉलम वाइज स्टैक हुआ. करेक्ट. अगर मुझे कॉलम्स ऐड करने हैं, जस्ट मेक श्योर कि जब आप कॉलम वाइज स्टैक कर रहे हो आपके इंडेक्सेस सेम है, अदरवाइज यू विल गेट दैट काइंड ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम. एनएज आएंगे. ओके. एंड यू कैन डू हॉरिजॉन्टल स्टैक बाय सिंपली गिविंग x इज इक्वल टू 0. ये हॉरिजॉन्टल वाइज स्टैक होगा, बट यहाँ पे आपका रिपीटेड हो गएगा, तो आप इसको रीसेट इंडेक्स कर सकते हो. ठीक है. तो ये हो गया मेरा कॉन्कैटिनेशन हॉरिजॉन्टल वाइज और कॉलम वाइज. कूल. Okay, then let's say so this is what you can do, right? So you can get x is equal to 1 as I was telling you, right? Column wise आप दे सकते हो, and यहाँ पे आप join दे सकते हो inner. So what does it mean? मान लीजिए आप अभी अपने केस में क्या था, कुछ भी कॉमन नहीं था. There were no common indexes, right? It was 0 1 2 3 and then 4 5 6 7. So that's why it put NA. But let's say if you have common indexes और आपको उन इंडेक्सेस पे कॉन्कैटिनेट करना है, तो यू कैन सिंपली गिव जॉइन इनर. इनर मींस जो कॉमन है, लाइक 2 3 है, सिर्फ वही आएंगे, बाकी नहीं आएंगे. तो दिस इज इक्विवेलेंट टू, इफ यू गाइस हैव रेड अबाउट जॉइंस, राइट? इनर जॉइन, आउटर जॉइन, फुल जॉइन. It is like that. So inner join is matlab whatever is the common value of two data frame, you will get that. Full join matlab you will get everything. So what you were getting, that was everything. So wherever something is missing, it will fill NA automatically. Okay. Left join is whatever is you are giving in a left side, that will come, or right side is whatever you are giving right side, all those entries will come. So these kind of different joins are there, but we don't use these join with concatenate. There is some other command called pd.merge which we will learn. So it just exists, so that's why I'm just telling you. But whenever you have to perform these kind of operation, we always prefer pd.merge. जब मुझे सिंपल एडिशन करना है, अपेंडिंग करना है रो वाइज, that time I use concatenation function. Otherwise, if I have to merge based on some keys, right, I should always go for merge function. Okay, so there you can see the difference. अगर आप join डाल रहे हो inner में तो सिर्फ 2 और 3 आया क्योंकि 2 और 3 इंडेक्स कॉमन था. अगर आप outer डालोगे, right, join outer में पूरा आ जाएगा. So we saw, right, NAs आ जाएंगे जहां जहां पे भी missing है. Okay, then you have what? So append is similar to concatenate, right? You can do df dot append, it will simply append. Okay, ignoring index कर सकते हो आप, तो आप index को ignore index true कर सकते हो. तो even though let's say आपके index same नहीं है, it will ignore it. It will just treat like you have same indexes and it will do stacking like this, or column wise if you do, it will simply stack. Okay, then okay, then this mixed NLDM. So merging data frame. Yeah, this is important. This is actually very important, and this is what I was telling. अगर आपको दो डेटा फ्रेम को मर्ज करना है, so this is inner join, means you have two data frames, so whatever is the common, that value only you will get. Okay, so that is inner join. Left join is whatever is your left side, those value will come after merging. If whatever is right side will come in right outer join, and full outer join मतलब दोनों के side का values आएगा. And let's see them by implementing. So I think things will be more clear. So how you have to give is, let me copy paste this data frame. Okay, simply आप कर सकते हो df dot merge. Okay, you give first data frame, that will be your left side data frame. Okay, so first data frame is df. Okay, sorry, already you have given df dot data merge, right? So already this is a left side of a data frame. Then you have to give your right side of data frame, correct? So that's what it is, right? PD. Okay, I think I get confused. It's PD dot merge. PD dot merge. Then you have to give left side of data frame, that is df. Then what is your right side of data frame? df1. And you have to tell on matlab what column is common. So one thing has to be common. So like in this case, you have key on which you want to merge. Otherwise, tell me one thing, if nothing is common, you cannot merge two data frames, right? You can simply concatenate, जो हम पहले कर रहे थे. But merging will be done if you have any one column which is common. Okay, if I do like this, by default, it will be doing a inner join. Okay, so it has merged simply. तो अगर आप देखो यहाँ पे name age था, यहाँ पे address qualification थे. Now in this merge data frame, you have got all key, name, merge, address, everything. ठीक है? Now let's say if you want to do on a multiple keys, that also you can do by simply giving key and key one. Okay, so let's say take this one. Okay, so here I have two keys, key and key one. तो यहाँ पर मैं एक key की जगह में दो key भी दे सकती हूँ by simply giving it as a list. Okay, key one, and as you see here, it by default it gives you inner join. It will check कि कहाँ कहाँ पे दो की सेम है, दोनों की सेम है. तो only two places, this one and k1, right? So and not this one, but k2, k0. So k2, k0. Right? Others, no, there are no place where both the keys are same. So that's why it has not given. Okay. But here I could have defined, there is something called how you want to do. Let's say if I give left, you see, in left what it will do, how many columns are there in left, how many entries are there in left, it will make sure you are getting left side of all the entries of left side. That is k0, k0, k1, k1, k2, k0 and k3, k1. So you see, left side of full data I will get. तो यहाँ पर जो भी मिलेगा, that value it will put. If it won't, it will put NAs. Okay. Similarly, अगर आप how को right कर दोगे, it will match everything what you have in right side. K0, K0, K1, K0, K2, K0, K3, K0. Similarly, अगर आपको full चाहिए तो you do full join. Sorry, there is no full, it's outer join. So careful of these keywords. So you see here it has given you all. So it has given K0, K0, K1. तो पहले 4 आ रहे थे. अब you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries है. Okay. And if you do inner, of course, you will just have only common one. So that's how it is different. Inner join, outer join, full left join and right join. So I hope these join differences are clear to you guys. Clear? Any question in this? No? Perfect. And anyhow, all these things will be shared to you. So whenever you have any confusion, you please go through it, read it once. So it's clearly written, left outer join, right outer join, outer inner. So with this, you do experiment, right? And then you can, easily understand it. So that's not a problem. Outer, inner, what is the difference you are getting? And if you already know PD merge, tell me, I'm being very honest, I have never join in my life. It would be same, I'm pretty sure. But I'm not teaching you because again it will be too much complicated. So you already know how to join it, right? One thing is, if you will be joining on keys, so you use merge function, or if not, you use concatenate. There is absolutely no need of join function. So that's why I'm not walking you through that. If you are interested, you can go through it. Clearly all the definition and examples is given. Simply it will be too much for you guys. That's the reason I'm not teaching you this. But merge and this concatenation function is more than enough. Okay. So I feel it is too much for today. So only few things are left in Pandas library. Then I would want to capture, the blog with, like we did for NumPy, in more detail, where all these things will be used, right? So I would want to resume that from the next class because I feel that's too much for you guys. So if you feel the same, I can take it up on Monday, or else we can, just get done with it. If you have any question, I can clarify those. So Priyanka has asked question, while filling all the null values with one mean value for all rows and columns, you said there is a situation. Can you please explain? Uh, are you talking about where I said that you can do a group by, calculate a group by using the mean value, and then you can use it for filling? If that's what you are referring to, then I'm not sure what do you mean. Uh, Let me read your comment again. Filling all the null values with one mean value for all rows. So, okay, I'll explain what I said, right? So, what I said is filling the null value for the entire mean of one column is not the solution, right? So, just now we saw that it may happen that I have a missing marks in Hindi subject. So I would be interested to know mean value only for the Hindi subject, right? Not for English or not for maths. It doesn't make sense if I get the aggregated value for entire, what do you say, the mean value and work like that. I should be getting the mean value only for the Hindi subject and will be filling to that. Correct? And that is what you can now solve it with group by. So I can try to make that example and show you guys. So let me do that quickly. Okay, so let's take here, right? Let's modify this. Okay, so let's say you have these many students, right? So let me create more. So let's say it's J only. And then where it is more one Princey. Okay, then you have, let me make address, or let me make this as a subject column. So it's Hindi, right? Then it's maths, and it's English. Okay, right now then you have for Princey, then let's say it's Hindi. Then I'm not changing for others because I'm just showing you one example for these guys. maths, and then English. Okay. Now you have certain score, so I'm just making this English one as np.net. Okay, so what happened it? Let's see, you have name, student name, you have subjects, you have scores. Okay, so if I do, if I have to fill this null value, so what I was saying is, what will one solution I said, you fill the null, get the mean value of entire score, but that's not the correct solution. So I can do np dot mean, right, and df ye jo score leke I could have done that. So it's giving me this 40.85, but this is not what is the correct way, because I am interested only for English marks NA. So English marks ka NA, if I see, I mean mean value, if I see, it should be close to around 35, correct? It should not be 40, because 40 is coming from all the subjects, which is wrong. So if that is the case, then I could have done the group by based on subjects. Okay. Based on subjects, I could have done the group by, right? And then maybe I could have put what do you say, it's a transformation, correct? So for transformation, what I can do is, let me see, it's okay. So basically, in this lambda function, you have to check wherever it is null, you will be pulling that value is x equal to mean, and then you will be pulling it up. Let's see if I can write it. Otherwise, I will show you tomorrow this better example, because right now there is just, let's do one thing. Let me find that example properly, because right now it doesn't make sense, right? Because I don't have much values over here also. So let me create that example and show you guys what I meant. Okay. So is there any other question that I can answer? Let's take that up. But ultimately, what I meant is, you can calculate the mean group by using creating groups, and then fill with the value directly using that mean, instead of calculating mean for entire one single column. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, fine then. Then thank you so much for your time. We will continue doing, back at on Monday. Just one request. I have already shared my LinkedIn link with you guys. I will be sharing that again. So please give your valuable feedback. It's been 2 weeks now, and I think next week is our last week. So I would really appreciate whatever is your honest feedback. If you can, give your comments in LinkedIn, and it will be great also to connect, right? If in future also, if you guys need any help, any kind of thing, if you are stuck, I can help you out. You can reach out to me over LinkedIn. So it will be good if you can, we can connect over there, and if you can give your valuable feedback there, that would be really helpful. Okay. With that, thank you so much and have a good day. Okay. I have shared the link, my LinkedIn profile link over here, so you can just copy paste without before we cut the call, and yeah, give your feedback. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone, and take care.